It's Saturday here in Motegi, Japan, and we are getting ready for round 17 of the MotoGP World Championship. It's free practice 2 ahead of qualifying in 45 minutes time as we set the grid for the Tissot Sprint and the Japanese Grand Prix. Good morning, everybody. Well done for getting up or staying up wherever you are in the world, and welcome to all of the action as the green light is on for a 30-minute qualifying session. So the riders are out on a bright and sunny circuit here, and that is the best news possible after what many were worried about with it being a different weekend in terms of what we are going to be witnessing out here. If it was going to be wet today, it is bright sunshine, dry conditions as well. Partially cloudy, but air temperature 26 degrees Celsius, ground temperature at 39 degrees Celsius. A beautiful day to go racing. Well, for the first time this year, Alex Marquez will have to go through qualifying number 1. It makes Marc Marquez the only rider to consistently be inside the qualifying 2 automatically run in 2025. Pekka Bagnaia tried a new swing arm yesterday, went back to the 2024 version, and suddenly his pace was back. Fast in practice 1, inside in practice 2, so things already look a million times better. Marc Marquez struggled in practice 1, but went 3rd fastest overall in practice 2. But it's Marco Bezzecchi on the Aprilia who looks very strong indeed. The session is underway and we're in for a very interesting time. Let's check in quickly how the standings look in the championship. Marc Marquez is on 512 with Alex Marquez on 330. It very much is that Marc Marquez only needs to score 3 more points this weekend than Alex Marquez, and he will be champion of 2025. As we wait then for the session to get properly underway, let's check in with our commentators at TNT. Alongside, it's Gavin Emmett, Michael Laverty and Neil Hodson.
Honda are coming force back to where they should be.
You see the different lines taken there by Jorge Martin and Marco Bezzecchi. Martin running really close to the green paint on exit from turn 2. Marco Bezzecchi perhaps just taking a little bit of time to get up to speed, but fastest rider yesterday, and this Aprilia is transforming as a motorcycle, isn't it? He's already had a little switch, so maybe that's why he was just taking his time to get up to speed. But there's no doubt about it, it's a regular challenger, and that was the aim. We had an Aprilia that worked at certain tracks, and it's almost like he had a Lacia
Yellow
Spider on that
sector
bike
2
for 6 years or 7 years or whatever it was, and they needed that fresh blood to come in Bezzecchi and Martin. People who've been on the Ducati and say, actually, this is what we need to do.
You're so right. You need that. This is the reference. We've got the experience. The #1 comment when they jumped on that Aprilia was, this bike is too nervous and actually too aggressive. It's so funny. Oh, that's a shame for Digi having such a solid weekend up to this point.
Yeah, Digi's crashed at turn 5 at the exit, so we'll get going again. Aldeguer's top at the moment.
Braking zone into a tight first gear corner, so hopefully he can get back. He was the most positive yesterday. Of all the debriefs, he was like, yeah, we definitely found something in Misano and we've stepped it up.
Again, that didn't go right, did it?
Yeah, but yeah, Mark's not been able to make that first corner. So I prefer this helmet design. This is a different, it's the same design, but the base of it is black, not white. I think it looks much better than yesterday's.
A little bit of gold leaf in it.
Yeah, always love a bit of gold leaf. Always reminds me of the old sort of Troy Lee design. But he was the first to ever put like gold leaf or silver leaf on swirls, metal swirls on helmets back in the probably late 80s, early 90s.
You must have had a night's sleep because you hated it yesterday, that helmet.
No, I don't like. I'm bored of the story of the fisheye. That's all. Don't get me started, Gav.
Leave the fish alone.
Yeah,
obsessed with fish here.
But
too much sushi.
I'm impressed with the. It looks better, like I say, with the black base and the white base. Yeah. Would you agree?
I do. I agree with you actually. The base of it. On board with Marc Marquez. Behind him, Pedro Acosta gave the shortest debrief known to man.
Less than a minute, wasn't it?
Yeah, 54 seconds I clocked it in on my phone. But he didn't have much to say. He was like, look, sliding on entry. Said it before, still look right, yeah. Crash, well, you saw what happened. That was it.
Yeah.
That was pretty much that. And it was like, everyone was a bit...
But
Yeah, cheers, thanks.
it's a combination of rider and journalist at this point in the season, with having that many races back to back. You ask a few questions, and it sort of does what it says on the tin. Yeah, I've crashed, pushing a bit hard. Grips seems a bit weird. Can I go now?
Yeah.
it's a bit like
You
that.
get a lot of that from
And also the journalists are like, yeah, you can go through nothing too hard. It's where everyone's a bit tired. We're on a run now with 6 races in 8 weekends. Obviously, got in there sliding into that corner. That was a great shot watching Pedro.
He gave a lot more to the Spanish. I stuck around for the Spanish debrief as well. And they asked him again, they do it every week, and they asked him again about Marc Marquez and what he thinks. And he just refused to answer.
It's boring
He
for
said-
the riders
he said
to
that, though,
keep
he
being
said-
asked
he said,
about
"I've already said
a
it."
rival. Yeah, I've already said it. Yeah, it's incredible. And yeah, if he wraps it up, yeah, what a comeback. Sorry, but what more can I
He
say?
didn't go that far.
Did not.
I said it yesterday.
Yeah, good. and good for him. He should say that, because no rider wants to constantly be talking about your opponents. That deep down in your heart, you know you want to beat them, and you're going to beat them at some point. So. It's almost disrespectful. Of course, a journalist has to ask their rivals about their opponents and all that lot, but to be constantly doing it, I think that's a bit disrespectful. But
Is this a case here of Marc Marquez, the front tyre? You know, when he ran wide there, just bringing it up to temperature, Michael, just feeling your way in like he does in races. This will obviously, probably be the setup for the sprint race later today. And just respecting that front tyre early on.
I believe so, yeah. Medium front, soft rear looks like the order of the day here for the sprint this afternoon. But yeah, as we seen yesterday, you do need to be a little cautious in the early laps. Just get it up to temperature, make sure it's going to stick under you when you plant it into those hairpin turns. And I think he's just showing it the due respect it needs.
I think everyone is actually. Lap times are a bit down on where you'd expect them to be yesterday. Quicker than Bagnaia went yesterday morning by a few tenths. Bagnaia already back in the pits as Marc Marquez goes to the top of the timesheets with a 1:44.3. I'm just thinking for Bagnaia, in and out quickly again. We saw a lot of that yesterday afternoon. Looked like it was pointing in the right direction in the morning. Then few electronics glitches, and you're just hoping that he gets it sorted out.
yeah,
Here we go again.
yeah, it's never encouraging to see someone in and out of the pits. But yeah, yesterday morning was good. He's third fastest, like say, in this session. And you know, reading between the lines, what's changed? Yeah, I think
Someone's
I'm
down
right.
sector
Right.
2. It's Marc Marquez! Marc Marquez has gone down in turn 5. That's unbelievable. We don't see Marc crashing that much this season, especially in a practice session. He's down on the deck at turn 5. He'll be able to get back on the bike, hopefully, and restart. He's going to push it out of the gravel. The front looks a little bit locked, but Marc is down at turn 5. Double A Dotse can't believe what he's seen. The yellow flags are out. They're going to try and restart the bike. But Marc Marquez, wow, he's decided that he might give it help for that one, actually, and just loop it back around. Yeah, so Marc is out. He's bike down going into qualifying in around about half an hour's time. Unbelievable stuff. He's dropped the front end coming into it.
Oh, gravel's so deep as well. Let's have a look at it. He's looked nervous in the braking zones. It's looked twitchy. Actually, then that looked as good as it's looked. Wow, really late one. But again, we've seen that crash so many times late into it.
That's why we're talking about having a little bit of respect for that
Front tyre, yeah.
I'm not saying the tyres feel off in terms of the choices here this weekend, but there's something not right.
There's something not right with the amount of crashes we've seen.
Yeah, typically this year Michelin have been up in the compounds one step, so your hard from, or your medium from last year will be your soft, and then your medium this year will be your hard from last year type thing. So yeah, it could well be that the compound's just that little step too hard, although with the temperature shift here this season, it's gone up, and surprising. That turn 5 is a little bit downhill at the apex. You're still dropping, and it is one of those corners that just feels so super flat, nothing to push against.
I wonder what's going on at the front of this bike, because he obviously wants to get this bike back, doesn't he? Or maybe they think they've got to pull it out of the gravel.
Saying, use your heads, lads.
Oh, I'll take this.
And he's just got him off. Frustration, just trying to get the
He's not
bike
frustrated
back.
most of the weekenders, Mark. In the garages looked much more animated than we normally see.
Mind the spiders in there.
Oh, yeah.
Little tunnel. Walk through one of those. There's some big boys and girls in there. He's on board with Marc Marquez down into turn 5. Not plain sailing.
I wonder if it's the initial touch of the throttle or is he still braking? Let's pull it up. Listen.
No, I think it was. I thought it looked like them.
All right. I don't know if he's still decelerating.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's... Oh, he's got it going.
All of that was just getting out of the heavy gravel.
Gravel, yeah. And it's not the marshal's fault. The gravel is so deep here.
Tons of Marc Marquez fans here. As you'd expect, he has been successful here over the years. Won 3 championships here already. Can he add another to his roster this weekend? A reminder, the mathematics are that he's got to
He's going mad.
got to outscore his brother by 3 points over the weekend, not just here in the sprint today, over the racing weekend. He had the same amount of points as Alex last time out in Misano.
So we've had 16 rounds, haven't we? How many times has he outscored his brother? I think, is it 3 times maybe Alex has outscored him? I'm thinking of the crash. I'm only... That's...
Yeah,
my mind of bad weekends
in
when he's crashed.
The Americas.
Yeah, when he crashed.
He's outscored him in Jerez.
Jerez when he crashed.
I think they might have been very, very similar though there. In Jerez, so outscored him in Jerez. In Silverstone, I'm just doing it off the top of my head. Similar. Again, Silverstone maybe.
But it's rare, isn't it?
Yeah,
obviously.
Not many times this year. And as I say, they got the same amount of points last time. And look, if it doesn't happen here, as it says, it will happen in Indonesia.
Yeah. With, I tell you what, Indonesia though is a track, isn't it? I don't think he's finished a race there.
It's not been a happy hunting.
No, a MotoGP Grand Prix. I don't even know if I don't think he's finished a Grand Prix. I might be wrong, but I know we've only been there 3 times, so, but... What's
and he missed out on one of them, obviously. He threw it in the morning, in the warm-up.
Yeah, he didn't race in that one. Was that the very first one? I think it was. That we were there. And then the year after he crashed his brains out again. Anyway. I thought what was quite interesting, reading between the lines with Bagnaia, he, to what's changed, he basically said, it's the first time at the test in Misano he's really been able to feel things. He said the test in in Thailand at the start of the year was a complete waste of time because it just wasn't happening for him, so anything they tried he couldn't really work out. He said the same at Jerez, same at Aragon. So essentially what they've done is they've gone back evaluating some of the things they tested in the past just to go through them, and he's ended up feeling comfortable going back to some of the older stuff, older aero on the seat unit. Sounds like he's got an older swinging arm and maybe even an older way the lowering device, the ride height device works. Just those combination of those 3 have allowed Bagnaia to feel more comfortable on corner entry.
And he's still got the older aero, Michael, hasn't he? The seat aero is not there.
Yeah, on the nose cone as well. Mark did revert to it at the test last weekend, or just over a week ago in Misano, and yeah, did stick with his 25 option as this man Fabio Di Gianantonio. You can see the little step in the front wings, but yeah, with the number 63 Machina Pecco Bagnaia, he's reverted to the 2024 aero, seems happier with it, and as Nate said, all the other little components, even his old front fork, he's definitely got it back in there as well, the shorter tubes, which puts a bit more force into the tyre, squashes the sidewall and gives him the feeling he likes in the deceleration phase. So yeah, reverse engineering things, putting old components back on but getting his feeling back on the Ducati. It's so important that Ducati have listened to him and allowed him to do that.
Some old tyres going in at the start of the session for Alex as he runs through a few settings. A great day for him yesterday. Crash at the wrong point. Never got a fast lap in. You'd be hopeful and expectant of him going through into Q2, but it's not a given. It's a given.
No, it's not a given. It's not a given round here with the times are so close, track positions, yellow flags. Yeah, there are no guarantees.
Yeah, from Johan Zarco in 10 down to Frankie Morbidelli in 16. There was less than a tenth of a second. Martin, Agura and Alex Marquez all had identical lap times, which I've never seen before. 3 riders to 3 decimal places.
That's incredible, isn't it?
All within that 10th as well.
Yeah.
Silly. I mean, the whole field at one point yesterday was covered by less than a second. It's 0.89 to Alex Marquez at the back of the field. Has Pecco Bagnaia turned a corner, Michael,
Yes.
do you think?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Neil.
I jumped in.
I'm going to go with you, Neil. Yeah, 100%. I do believe he has. Everything looks so much better this weekend. It just looks like Pecco of old. He goes out in this morning's session after a tough afternoon with electronic issues, sensor problems at the start of the session. He put things right. He got through to Q2. He's matching Marc here. Well, Marc's had 4 laps in a crash, but yeah, he's certainly looking much more at the match. He's got something to fight with here in Motegi.
Agura just doing a bit of visualisation. Decent day at the office. Has found a little bit of form recently, coming back towards the Agura that we saw at the start of the season. He seems to come into his own, doesn't he, in the flyaway races? But was
Front ducked in part, was it?
Yeah, is it from the front shrouds on the front wheel? Is that?
Yeah, one of those little side wings.
What that's worth. What do you reckon, Michael?
€400, around about there probably. Carbon that size. I guess that doesn't take into account the development.
The R&D behind it.
I'll knock you one
Yeah,
up on the 3D printer for 30 quid.
Yeah, you could do that as well. But yeah, the actual material and the manufacturing, but the R&D is the important part in terms of when you value a component.
Back out onto the circuit in front of his adoring fans. Jorge Martins, like a few people struggling with the front tyre yesterday, had a good morning session, second quickest. Was very, very happy post-test in Misano. There's going to be a time in these remaining 6 races, I feel, he's going to grab a podium.
Yep, I'll go with that as well.
Not one to know that he's down, it's Jorge Martin. So he'll, I just fancy him to...
I just want to see some racing. I want to see Bagnaia click and get stuck into Marc, and I want to see Martin up there. We saw Bezzecchi. He's obviously clearly up for it. We saw that in Misano. Alex Marquez, we know he's up for it. Just need a few more names. That's why it's so pleasing to see this man back on form, confident. The bike looks how it should look. He's not shaking his head. He's not going wide. He's been able to string some laps together, so really positive.
And having a look here, Taka Nakagami in 5th, Luca Marini 6th, Joan Mir in 8th. Yeah, the Hondas aren't that far away.
No, not at all. On one lap time, they're not that far away. Race distance we've seen this year, a few times where they've been in the top 10. I know some people were predicting Marini potentially for a podium. They're not quite at that, let's say, race pace. They're not there. But what is pleasing, if you think just 12 months ago, they were at this, like, well, the Hondas are in the top 10. Literally 12 months ago, they were in from P20 to 23rd, weren't they?
Yeah,
they were really
the lowest of the low. The lowest they've ever been. You know, we were talking about Luca Marini, weren't we? 20th on the grid here, 14th in the race. Joan Mir didn't finish the first lap, surprise, surprise, in the race from 17th on the grid. You know, you're thinking, what's going on? Your careers, or but Honda have, like a big tanker, started to turn it around.
So true.
It started for me when Marc was leaving. That was the impetus. That was the start of the rudder turning.
Yeah, that was the cultural shift has happened at Honda post Marc's when he defected to Ducati, that was a massive shot in the arm for them. They had to change their way of working. They had to employ some Italian engineers like Romano Alciano down the line. But yeah, it's been a work in progress, and they're starting to finally see the fruits of their labour.
Here we go, on board with Luca Marini. I've been so impressed by him in recent weeks. Was under pressure for his ride. He said that was never in doubt. It was. When he was lying up after his Suzuka crash, his ride was under threat.
Yeah, definitely.
Jorge Martin
yeah.
wanted and expected it.
Yeah, I don't know where he would have ended up. Well, he would have ended up in the LCR squad, wouldn't he? I guess, instead of Chantra. But he was definitely out of the factory team.
He didn't have a contract.
No.
He didn't have a contract. But anyway, Alberto Puig has stuck with him. Of the Honda crew, and it's paying dividends at the moment. A good lap here. Luca Marini, fastest in the first sector. So what's changing, Michael? Where's the progress coming from?
In the Misano test, Luca said he worked on some 2026 parts, but then went back to refining what they've got, which is electronics. Going through, they've changed a lot of aero on the seat unit because you can evolve that. It's not part of the aero body, but you can't. They've already had their upgrade on the frontal areas, but they've worked on the lowering device. They've worked a lot on power management, power delivery, combining the electronics with the engine and the lowering device, and getting that all to marry together to match the Ducatis and Aprilias now off the turn and acceleration. Small margins. The engine has been a complaint for acceleration, but you look, Zarco's 4th, Marini's 5th, Mir's 6th on the speed trap, so the bike's certainly got some legs now, which it seemed to have lacked over recent years. And it's funny that the engine's actually frozen, but they found a way to make it accelerate better with the current parts that they have at their disposal in terms of the internal engine component. But yeah, it's all just small gains. They've worked on the exhausts as well, different swing arms, different frames. So many small changes. It doesn't look massively different than at the start of the season, but boy, does it look different on track, how it works.
Ayagura's on a lap here. As Marc Marini sets another really competitive lap time. 2 on the bounce. Is this a little first just glimpse at what we might get when we go qualifying? Ayagura, I'll remind you, has to go through Q1 up against Alex Marquez, Jorge Martin, Frankie Morbidelli. You know, there's some people higher up the order in this session who'll be expecting to go through into Q2. There's going to be nothing given when we go qualifying in a few minutes' time. Here is Morbidelli as Ogura goes into 10th. And when you get Frankie Morbidelli at the sharp end of a MotoGP race, you want to buy a ticket.
All bets are off. Anything can happen. Had a couple of crashes yesterday, did Morbidelli.
Oh, lovely. Down into turn 11. The lefts and then into the final right of Victory Corner over the Blanc Crest. To the line, Frankie was 4th, up to 3rd. Top 3 covered by .02. That's 2/100ths of a second covering those top 3 Ducatis. And even Luca Marini within a 10 of Marc Marquez's time, who is back out on track going again. There are people here, Neil and Michael, putting in qualifying practices. Acosta halfway round, Agura again halfway round, getting themselves, shall we say, match fit.
Yeah, because it's so close. Look at that then. Again. And it started in the initial braking zone. There was a kickback. I did joke yesterday, trying to be funny, but it's like him and his teammate. It's like he's riding Pecco's bike and Pecco's now riding his bike. I said it yesterday joking, going, that's what Ducati have done. But that bike's not looked good at any point this weekend, and it's always in the braking zones. Where he's looked slow in the past, we've said that about Marc. He's worked out how to ride that Ducati, you know, work on his exits, not rush the corners. It's now looking like he's back on a Honda.
Ayagura up to 3rd. Great for the fans. Ah, Sahara-san used to be the big boss down at Suzuki. Shinichi Sahara.
He's still close links with Davide Brivio, that's why he's in the Trackhouse garage. But yeah, good to see him back in the paddock. And still rumours of Suzuki coming back to racing, maybe not MotoGP in the short term, but yeah, good to see that the factory itself, after pretty much exiting the sport, are having a rethink.
Love to see them back.
Are they talking about Superbike?
Superbike possibly, or some maybe it could be World Endurance Development. They do have a focus on the fuel scenario and the eco-fuels of the future, which is definitely a big push internally in the company. They're looking at return to racing for the future.
Well, now we're going 100% renewables from to 2027 here in MotoGP.
You're throwing that into the mix as well.
That's another factor.
Yeah, there will be another factor.
They say the
tyres.
difference is about 3%.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what the lap times are like with no ride height devices, obviously less 150 cc's less aero, obviously different tyres, renewable fuels. Is that going to be a second a lap? You'd have to say yes. You would have to say yes. But then I think Pirelli's will be off a bit more grip. I think they'll drop off a little bit more in the race, but they'll offer a bit maybe initial grip. So like records might actually go. Be interesting, won't it?
It's going to be fascinating. Ayagura second now. That's what, 3 on the belts?
Yeah.
He said it heading into this weekend. He likes this circuit. It's always worked for his natural riding style in the smaller categories. But first time here on a MotoGP bike, he wasn't sure quite what to expect, but looking good this morning.
And you wouldn't have ever said the Aprilia would match this track and his riding style, would you? And yet it's starting to transform itself as a motorcycle.
Yeah, I tell you what, we're in for a funny race. I think, genuinely, it's a really, really hard one to call.
That's good, though. That's what we want, isn't it?
I am not complaining.
There's nothing we want more than to head in, and it has happened on a few times this season, where you're not quite sure. Marc has stood up on more than one occasion this season, especially in the sprint format. But, you know, there were no foregone conclusions in Misano. Marco Bezzecchi gave him a good go. Mistake cost him in the end, really. They're both trading fast laps at the end of that race, and I think it's even tighter here, and there's other contenders. Pedro Acosta's in the mix. Yeah,
definitely. Bagnaia is in the mix, but I'm going to unfortunately have to say, I don't think for the sprint, because it's not worked for him at all this year, so I can't see him being there in the sprint.
Mark's been given a different mapping of his electronics to switch to. Just trying to find a direction at the end of this session.
I'm going to say this man's favourite for the sprint, Pedro, which I've not said once this year.
Well, he's never won. He's never won a race.
He's never won a race. So, yeah, there you go. And I'm going to say this is his best opportunity. Said it early before qualifying.
Okay. I'm glad you've got it out there.
Do you want to get one in early, Gav?
Are there any other names you want to mention?
No, that's who I'm tipping for the sprint before qualifying.
I might go for a Bez.
Who are you going to go with?
Bez.
Michael?
That's it. Both are good shouts, so I'm going to have to go for someone different. I'm going to go for the complete wild card of Marc Marquez.
I knew that would come in.
Exactly. I'd have done exactly this.
I'd have done exactly this.
We would basically never write off myself and Neil. It is wishful thinking, isn't it? But it just does not look comfortable. It looks like early laps on that front tyre.
Well, that lap's awful.
Yeah.
You know, a 45.3 for him is so far off the pace. 4 even.
Yeah. But there's the green paint there. It's all on the
so
front.
Nervous on braking. Looks like it's pitching quicker. It's weird. So basically, Mark for pole and do the double.
No, but you could see a front end tuck in a qualifying, couldn't you? You could see that sort of thing. It's got that feel again. That's wide
apex.
Again.
So he's not confident then to.
No.
That's the corner he crashed on, so he don't want to trail brake.
He'll be happy just to take the points, though, Neil, won't he?
No. Lots of talk about that this week, and he's saying it as well, just taking pressure off himself. But no, He wants to win this championship with a win, as we know.
Checker flag is out. We're about to go qualifying here. Has anyone else got a fast lap coming in at this stage? Marc Marquez is well off on this lap, having run wide. There's Bez behind him. Fastest going into qualifying, fastest in practice. Has Pecco Bagnaia got anything for us? Has had one pole position this year back in the Czech Republic. That was the first page we thought had been turned. Bless you, Neil.
Oh, I'm catching whatever you've got, Gav.
Get it out of the system anyway.
Yeah.
Pedro Costa's lap's gone away from him. A funny end to the session, a funny morning again.
Been a funny weekend, yeah. Well, Ayagura there, second. I mean, Taka Nakagami in 8th. It is strange.
Taka's got a point to prove, hasn't he? Well, he's turned up every time this year, actually. I feel like we've seen a better Taka.
I'm laughing.
As a test rider.
I imagine him getting a podium. Never had one all through his MotoGP career.
It'd just be one of those things,
yeah.
wouldn't it? Yeah, he got that 6th place, didn't he, in Le Mans? Remember in the rain, and you're thinking, here he is. He turns up. One of his best MotoGP results. Pedro Costa, he was saying it was the slide for him on corner entry. It's the soft tyre pushing the front. Again, that one not so bad.
He's been all action this weekend.
So Pedro Costa fastest in our second free practice session. Ayagura second quickest. He's got to go through Q1.
Yep, and that's all coming up next here as well. So join us in a second live on JB Motorsports as we will go qualifying. There will be a channel change, so get ready to go to JB Motorsports.